Welcome back to the Genius Maltby channel. Thanks for sticking around, the dedicated few that wait for me to come back from all of the events that take place during the summer for me. As many of you know, I take a break and I kind of just disconnect from the news and get more involved in the great outdoors, exploring and so on. Well, lo and behold, I don't have to remind any of you because I'm sure you guys have been pretty vigilant and paying attention to what's going on, as most of you are. And I have been completely oblivious to the news and the world events. I do keep somewhat of a finger on the pulse to see where things are at and what's been going on lately, as I've slowly kind of eased back into things as fall approaches. And of course, as we've discussed on this channel time and time again, and we've talked about, the potential for double dips, and this isn't anything myself or any of you really have come up with, but just the people we pay attention to that do know quite a bit more than we do, and the ones that we respect, and I've listed those minds and those individuals off and tried to give them credit throughout the videos here on this channel. But many of those minds and those economic brains that we respect have predicted and talked about a double dip, the danger of a double dip, Jim Rickards, Peter Schiff. I do respect Ron Paul and his calls at times, and many others. The list is pretty much endless. Jim Rogers, Mark Faber, there's a lot of them. Anyone that's pretty much at the Ludwig von Mises Institute, a lot of those Austrian economic minds, libertarian economic minds, who seem to have, in my opinion, a firm grasp of what's real, what's not. And well, I'm going to pose a question here. We're going to kind of do what we do here on the Genius Maltby channel as we get back into things. We're going to take a look at the news, the headlines. Some of them, please bear with me, they're going to be a couple days old, but they're still fun to look at. They're still relevant, and they still can help us generate a cool conversation and comments here. So welcome back. Let's get the channel up and going for the fall and the winter, which is when it gets dark, cold, and exciting as we take a look at the world. Now, drum roll. Okay, how quickly can your money go? As you see, we opened the video with this slide here. This was just the other day, 6.26% opening slide on the Dow, over 1,000 points. It was incredible how fast things started happening. Now, I've heard and read so many different rumors on what's precipitating this, and everything from troop movements in China to the economic faltering of China. You've seen, obviously, the major market movements there in the Chinese markets, some of the drops they've experienced, and them slashing the yuan, and the Western economy. Is this a state of contraction? I mean, this could be big, and that's definitely something to pay attention to. My favorite thing in the world is all of the people who tell everyone else not to panic and not to worry about their 401k, about their kids' college account, about their mutual funds. There's a lot of people out there screaming on NPR and on the news, hey, don't worry, don't pay attention to this, it's nothing, everything will be okay. And they just continue to remind me of the gentleman in The Wizard of Oz who's telling Dorothy and the Tin Man and the Lion and the Scarecrow to not pay attention to the guy behind the curtain, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. And I think I've brought that analogy up here on the channel in the past, and it's funny. I think it's interesting. Anyways, so the market took this big old dip. There's been a couple of them. I think I lose track. There was a big dip day, another big dip day, an up day, then another down day. I don't really care because I don't have any money really tied up in the stock market other than some pension stuff. That's a long story, and I don't need to talk about it. But here we go. Schiff. I like this guy. So the market's pipe dream is ending. I would pay attention to his headline here and the article that some of his words are in. We're going to read through them real quick and then skip through some headlines and use it as a segue into an article I'd like some of you guys to read if you have time. So, as stocks attempt to come back from a historic market sell-off, Euro Pacific Capital CEO Peter Schiff said any gains, including Tuesday's bounce, are notoriously suspect. Stocks tumbled into the close on Tuesday, marking the 6th straight day of losses for major U.S. indexes and erasing all gains from the day's brief rally. Schiff has been vocal about his bearish take on the U.S. market and his belief that another round of quantitative easing is coming. Speculators on Wall Street have called a raise in interest rates anywhere between September and March. But Schiff isn't wavering on his stance that a rate hike at this time could send the U.S. economy spiraling into a recession, especially given the past week's market plunge. That is another theory I was going to bring up. I do, and I think it holds a lot of weight. This is the markets perhaps threatening the Fed to not raise interest rates. So as you all know, everyone owes a lot of debt. There's a lot of debt. It's all debt. Everything's debt. The world, the U.S. government, the economy here is based on an incredible amount of debt. Consumer debt load, student debt load. Every vehicle you see on the road pretty much is owned by a bank, and the people driving it are renting it, leasing it, paying loans on it. You know, some people are fortunate to have vehicles that are paid for, but the majority, I would say, you see are not. So there's a lot of loans out there. Well, of course, those aren't going to change. A vehicle loan's not going to change by the Fed raising interest rates, but it will change some new loans. If there's any variable loans out there for houses or seconds, and some people do things like get a second on a house with a variable loan, and then they go out and maybe purchase a vehicle with some cash, and now the money that they took out is going to that loan will change. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. The amount they're going to have to pay on interest will increase as Fed rates increase. So this can have a broad effect on the overall economy, and it might tighten up spending. We all know these things, and I do think it's imperative that rates need to go up because savers have been punished for a very long time now. Cash just sits, it's stagnant, and you're pretty much forced to invest it in the Wall Street gambling casino, where you see what just happened recently. They just take the chips off the table, you lose, ha-ha, and go cry to your mom about it, no one cares. That's pretty much their attitude. Well, I told you we'd get distracted, so we do. Anyways, that's definitely a potential here. We got this whole idea behind the Fed possibly raising rates, which I think after this, like I heard this morning on the news, I think it was Janet Yellen, or basically the Fed, saying they may rethink it. It's going to have to happen eventually, right? We can't have 0% forever. And then there's the whole thing with China. Stock collapse spread to panic selling worldwide. It took place in Europe. There was a 9% slump in Chinese stocks, their worst performance since the depths of the global financial crisis in 2007, and it wiped out what was left of the 2015 gains. So basically China's flat for the year, which in June was more than 50%. Imagine a 50% slide. What people here would do. Unbelievable. So China, they did devalue the yuan. They could devalue it even more. This is definitely something that the U.S. doesn't really like to occur when the Chinese start to cut their currency. Here's another chart from just the other day. Dow plunging 531 points. Signs of slowdown in Chinese economy pressure stocks and commodities. China's stocks slump as rate cut fails to stop $5 trillion rout. Another one. Check this chart out. The Shanghai Stock Exchange Composite Index. This is just the 1.3% drop here that you're seeing, but if you look at it back in January 2015, and you look at that unbelievable mountain of a rise, and then almost returning to levels below that. So that's how fast money can come and go for investors in paper and fake things. Stocks in Europe resume retreat as rebound proves temporary. This is just to catch us all up, guys. European stocks decline. There you go. 600-point drop since the yuan devaluation. U.S. stocks rally unravels as the Dow, S&P 500 end sharply lower. China stocks tumble again, close 7.6% lower. And then after the historic 1,000-point plunge, Dow dives 588 points at close. And then yesterday, real quick, so the Dow was up like 300 or 400 points or more, and then it plummeted again. There was like a 600-point swing yesterday, which was just volatility Like, unbelievable volatility. So after an unprecedented 1,000 point decline at the open on Monday, the Dow closed with a loss of nearly 600 points. So we just saw that. Okay. So, interesting things happening all around. I know a lot of you had messaged me. I do get your messages, and I try to reply when I can, when I have time, when I come back on the radar, and when I get back, basically, near technology, near Wi-Fi, near all of those horrible things that we've created for ourselves to remain permanently distracted and detached from the outdoors. So here I am, plugged in again. But I do get your messages, and I know there was a lot of inquiry regarding, hey, Junius, what's going on with the gold prices? Gold's plummeting. I got to be honest with you guys, man. I've told you this before, and we've watched videos on it. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the daily movements, not even the monthly movements of gold. I don't care. And I'm in it for beyond the long term. I'm in it for generational dynasty preservation. Gold's something I'm going to pass on to my heirs. It's not here just for me, although I'm going to probably use some of it in my old age. But I've told you, remember the video I made a years ago, or not, a year ago, whatever. It's in the archives there. The ideology of owning gold, of gold ownership. Gold is far beyond a daily investment for me, or a money trading game, a stock type game. It's much deeper than that, and that's not the purpose of today's video, so I'm not going to take a lot of time to explain it. But those daily movements, I would tell you, just keep strong, know the end game, know what's coming, know where we're going, and just relax. I don't even pay attention to I hate to use the term because it seems so ghetto, but the term haters. The gold critics, we'll call them that. The gold critics, they seem to always try to point to the behavior and the performance of gold at really awkward times in history. They go back and they point to how it was flat from the late 1800s and the turn of the century up to the 1930s, and then they don't really pay attention to the government controls and laws that were placed to kind of hem gold in and keep it constrained. And then you talk about like 1970s and then how it was illegal from 1933 on, and then it became legal again. And I'm just trying to summarize real fast. But if you look at that history of gold, and I cover this in so many of the videos in the past, the entire theme and mantra there is that it's always reacting to government laws, legislations, and controls. It's never free like a bird just let out of a cage to do what it will. It's always confined. It's taxed at 28%, which is more than any stock. The gains on it, there's all kinds of laws about its movement, buying, and its selling. The way it's traded on the markets. There's a lot of manipulation. We all know that. We've seen it. We've made videos on it. So when I like to tell these gold critics, hey, if you let gold go and you let all the people who control it, if you take that power away from them, just let it do what it does in the free market, there's no telling how it will react. We can't, at this point in modern times, make a call on what it will do because we've never seen gold in a free environment, in a free economy, if you know what I'm saying. It's never been unhinged and just let go to do what it would do. There's all these laws about it. I can't give you gold to buy your truck. There's a law preventing you and me from having that type of a mutual or free exchange. Anyways, that's it. We'll have to make a video on that topic some other time. My point there is these people that are critical of gold base a lot of their criticism on it, on behaviors that it happen or occur based on reactions gold's having to things beyond gold or any of our control, basically reacting to governments. This brings us into the religion of hating gold, which is an article. I'm not going to do the whole thing here. I'm just going to show you a couple slides from it because I want you guys to go read this guy's article. It's kind of a good guy. He's kind of he's on our side. He's titled The Bullion Baron. He's got bullionbaron.com. Definitely a gold guy. I like the way he writes, like the way he talks. But he covers something similar to what I just talked about as far as the ideology of gold ownership. The religion of hating gold hating. I mean, it's amazing what you see out there when you see the finance commentators, as he's calling them, when they poke fun at people who own gold, and just the vitriolic assault that a lot of these people have on gold ownership and on people that discuss owning gold. You would be surprised if you saw the level of, I guess you could call it hate mail or hate comments that this channel alone receives from the anti-gold crowd. And that's fine. I'm here to take it. Bring it on. We'll see where things go in the future. We'll see who's right in the end. I can tell you one thing. I've been buying gold a lot longer than a lot of these little millennials and little baby iPod owners have been buying stocks. And if I've been buying gold, which I have been since the mid to late 80s, and basically when I was at the turn, more in the 90s, early 90s, I'd say, and then really started punching into it in like the late 90s. You look at 1999, nobody who bought gold in 1999 has lost money yet. All right? Just let me tell you that. If you're a gold critic and you have individuals who bought a majority of their gold and maybe swapped coins out to get newer looking coins or traded coins here and there, which they could have done. Just because a guy has a gold coin that says 2010 doesn't mean he purchased that gold in 2010. All kinds of things can be traded and swapped. But the fact of the matter is, anyone who purchased large amounts of gold in the late 90s when gold was hanging around the $260 to $400 ranges in there, they're sitting pretty right now. As well as even in 2007, 8, if you locked in it, even there, you're doing pretty good today. So, okay, yeah, we're talking about the people who hate gold. Let's just take a look at some of these real quick. Again, we get sidetracked so easily on this channel, and I'm a little rusty. We haven't made a video in a while, right? Look at these comments. I bleeping hate gold, but today I read an article in Washington Post, Bloomberg, and Yahoo Finance guaranteeing gold's demise. I hate gold before it became cool to hate on gold. And then this guy's here saying gold investors at this point ought to seriously rethink how they see the world. Oh, long day for the financial reports. Refer to bond yields and drop reference to the gold price. Wow. Gold is irrelevant to economic conditions. That's amazing. Gold is irrelevant to economic conditions. Then why does every economic and investment site report on it constantly and create conversations surrounding this yellow, barbarous, archaic relic, this metal that some of them have even referred to as a pet rock? Why does the Fed own it? Why do hedge funds own it? I've made this call on this channel before. I've challenged all of these institutions. Dump your gold then. If you truly feel this way and believe this way, dump your gold on the open market immediately and relinquish all physical holdings and control of gold. Dump the price. It'll be amazing when all that gold hits the market, right? Imagine like $4 trillion worth of gold hitting the open market tomorrow. The price would plummet. Bring it on. I'll take my bundles of cash in and buy as much of it as I possibly can. And then if they removed all controls, all legislation holdings, and it became basically something that you and I could transact with freely, it would be amazing to see where gold ended up and what took place in the world economy. Of course, that's a pipe dream. That'll never happen. But, so they scoff, they laugh, they call us names, and they attack us. The holders of gold, anyone who's a member of the junior small P community, I guarantee you, we're attacked by these people. Vitriolic hatred they have for us because we buy gold. They don't like the fact that we won't do what they're doing. It's amazing the herd mentality of the human, always attacking and questioning others who are walking a different path or doing something a little bit out of the ordinary from them. Everyone, if the people that are smoking, remember that back in like the teen years, everyone wants the guy that's not smoking to smoke because they want to feel like, hey, why is he not? We need him to do it too. Everyone wants someone else to do what they're doing so they can justify it or feel like it's okay. It's just some weird behavioral pattern for sure. But you can observe it in pretty much anything. Everyone tries to get everyone else to do what they're doing. And while you and I are a little bit different. We're not running with the pack, with the herd. We're not buying paper. We're not exposing ourselves to this casino mentality that's Wall Street. Because we see something different. Whether it's a feeling we have or just the books we read, there's something different in the air. There's something we smell. There's smoke on the breeze. And we know something is different. And therefore we choose to put our holdings and our wealth preservation in something that's lasted a little bit longer, something that's been around for 70 centuries or more, and that being gold. So we'll take this opportunity to perhaps scoff at them. I'm going to be honest with all of you. I get a little tickle. I get happy. I get jollies. I get kind of warm and fuzzy inside when I see these 1,000-point drops. I really don't care. It doesn't bother me. I would like to see the Dow Jones Industrial go to like 2,000. I don't. It wouldn't bother me. It would have almost no bearing on my life. Pause. Someone out there in the internet world or YouTube is flipping out. Oh, it'll have something on your life. No, it won't, man. You don't know how I live, how simply I live, or what I do. I'll get by, believe me. Just like people did before there was a Dow. There's a lot of people on this planet doing a whole lot of things before there was a Dow Jones Industrial Average. And we'd go back to that. Heck, I'll have turn the power off. I'll have oil lamps in my house. Turn the city water off. I know where to get water. I can drill a well in 2 minutes. I can put a sand point down and start sucking water up right out of the ground easily. There's a lot of things people don't know and assumptions they make. Yeah, if you live in a city and the economy collapses and there's chaos and burning and looting or whatever, you know, those people that talk about the Armageddon scenarios, they predict these crazy things. Who knows? It might not be crazy. It might be real. That might be a reality. I don't know. All I know, you look at Syria, the Ukraine, you look all over the world at places that were somewhat stable at some point, and before you know it, there's economic upheaval and a deterioration of conditions, and people's lives change and are forever altered. There's no guarantees that this can't happen here. I know a lot of you think that. There's a lot of people that think that because we happen to have a red, white, and blue flag and bald eagles as our mascot, that nothing can happen here. But I'll tell you right now, just because it's America doesn't mean we're immune. Okay? There is no rule, there is no law etched in a granite tablet somewhere that says America will never ever suffer any economic consequences or have serious problems. There's no guarantee that the borders of this country will be maintained for the next millennia. You look how fast and quickly borders change all over the globe. Since I was born, the lines and borders in Europe have changed multiple times. The currencies have come and gone there. There's dozens of currencies that have been erased. There's no guarantee the dollar is going to be around. And you have to realize that you got to open your eyes a little bit and look around and realize we're not immune. You look at the problem in Greece, the debt, the collapse. Go watch the video I made on why we're not immune. It's kind of a satire, kind of a joke, but we're not immune. So it's good to be back. I hope all of you are doing well. Maybe I'll do a video on some things that have happened while I've been away. I've had a fairly good summer. There has been some news in my life, but all is well, all is good. So hopefully that you don't have to worry about anything like that. But all is well now. My dad did have a type of a stroke, and he's an awesome dude. He's kind of one of the influences for this channel. Some of these videos in the past have kind of been born out of a collaboration and conversations with him, and he's kind of the one who taught me how to look at the world in a different way, through a different prism, different angle, and awesome influence, awesome guy. Any of you would be privileged and honored to just to know him, talk with him about history, politics, religion, economics, anything at all, really. And definitely this channel would not exist in any way if it wasn't for him. And he had luckily, a very mild and safe type of a stroke. He had what's called a perimesencephalic non-aneurysmal subarachnoid hemorrhage. Key there being non-aneurysmal. He did not have an aneurysm. He just had a spontaneous venous-sided bleed on the subarachnoid membrane of his brain. And they put a drain in. It's all been evacuated. He's got no deficits, no neuro problems resulting from it whatsoever. He'll make 100% recovery, and his risk for any recurring incident ever similar to this is zero. It's the same as a general population. He doesn't have like an increased risk of having any type of an incident. So he's alive and well. But that was definitely a scare, and I had to deal with that for the last week and a half. So that was an emotional roller coaster, just thinking of having to deal with losing some of that important. So it also puts things into a whole nother prism for me. I mean, here we are getting sidetracked, and I'm going to share with you guys some stuff, but it puts things in a different perspective. The ones you love, the family you have, the friends you have around you, people, relationships, those that you have conversations with, that you enjoy the company with, the people you share a beer with, a meal with, sitting in a garden and just enjoying a summer breeze, listening to the wind roll through the leaves. Those are the times, the people, the moments that are the most important. No material possession, no amount of wealth can purchase that. And we're all going to be, like they say, when the game's over, the king and the pawn go back in the same box. So even if you're a billionaire, guess what? If you have an aneurysmal stroke, you can't purchase odds to improve you. 75% of the people who have an aneurysmal stroke, subarachnoid hemorrhage, are going to die. And you can't buy the ability out of that. So it could happen tomorrow. Warren Buffett, Henry Paulson, Lord Blankfein, any one of those guys. They could pop a clot, pop something, drop, and it's over. So just enjoy the time you have on this planet. Enjoy your friends and family and all the love that you have around you. And just remember what's truly important. It's never going to be gold. It's never going to be your stock portfolio. It's never going to be the brand new car that you have, or your image, or your designer attire, or your Gucci handbag. Just a heck of a lot more to it. So have a great day. Thanks for being part of the channel and bearing with me during this comeback video. Hope you guys are all here and joining in on the conversation. So have a great day, a good evening. Take care of yourselves.